All right, we are live. Welcome in, everybody. It's a Sunday night. I know you guys aren't used to Sunday nights with me doing our Orioles Weekly, but I've got something. I've got another commitment tomorrow, and there's lots of Oriole news to talk about. And I figured, you know what? We need to talk about it tonight so that I didn't forget. I had a lot of things on my mind, and I said we need to go over a lot of different things about the Orioles. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about it tonight. Let me make sure I'm live. Looks like I'm live, but it doesn't look like I'm live on YouTube just yet. Let me know. Can you guys see me? Let me know if you see me. If you don't, I figured, you know what? All right. Yeah. Okay. So we are there. Okay. Good. Well, good to have everybody here. Thank you all for joining me again. Impromptu session tonight as we're going to talk about all things Orioles baseball. We got a lot of different topics to get into. I figured I'd do it tonight on a Sunday night after the fresh off the series against Oakland. We'll touch on that a little bit. We're going to preview the Yankees series coming up. Talk a little bit about the Yankees series, and then we'll talk about a few other things. What's up, Mark? Welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. About what's coming up in reference to some moves and decisions that the Orioles are going to need to be making here in the next few days. Might even be decisions made, like in the next few hours, for all I know. But good to have all of you here. Mark Langenkamp's in the chat. I think I see he is the only one in here at the moment. No problem at all. But we'll get right into our topics. I want to touch on several different things tonight. We'll kind of take them one at a time. Obviously, one of the first things we're going to talk about Jackson Holliday being sent down. If you haven't already seen it, I did do a big video on this. Vicky Pauly, welcome in. Good to see you. Did a video on it. It's got like 500 views, which is real good for this channel. In reference to what I thought about Jackson Holliday. I'm going to get into that a little bit, but more about the repercussions of the Jackson Holliday move for the Orioles moving forward. My Lumbago, welcome in. Good to see you as well. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Be sure to hit that like button for me. It definitely helps the stream. So a couple days ago, the Orioles, of course, sent down Jackson Holliday. He's been mired in a big slump. He's like 2 for his first 35. So it's been difficult for him. He's had some bad at bats for sure. He's at times looked overmatched. Not a ton overmatched, but at times. His at bats lately were getting better. Better at bats. He was working counts, was doing better, making better contact. What I saw from him is he looked like he was pulling off the ball way too much, which I wasn't a big fan of. Especially when he got the 2 strikes. I thought, his approach with 2 strikes wasn't the best. And maybe the Orioles saw that too, but they send him down. And I don't think it's a bad move. I think it's a smart move. What's up, Victor? Welcome in. Good to see you. Just give him a reset. You had him come up. You gave him a shot. It didn't go as well. Send him back down. Look, Grayson Rodriguez went back down for the Orioles. Who else went down for the Orioles? We had somebody else went down. Cal Ripken, I think, didn't do very well at first when he was up here. He was sent back down, or I think he was. Mike Trout was sent back down, for sure. Colton Cowser was sent back down when they first came up. 74K, welcome in. Trout's a big one. Mike Trout, when he first came up with the Angels, didn't do well. They had to send him back down. So it's okay to do this. I think his mindset is going to be fine. I think he got a hit today. He went 1 for 4 with a double for Norfolk. But what I wanted to talk about was ultimately who's going to get the bulk of the at-bats that would have ultimately gone to Jackson Holliday moving forward. Pigtown Sports, welcome in. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. I think Nathan, welcome in. Good to see you as well. I think the bulk of the at-bats are going to go to Ramon Urias. I think what the Orioles will do, and they've already done it, and they're going to continue to do it. I don't think it's really I'm not giving a revelation here. Urias will play the majority at third base. They'll put Jordan Westburg at second for the time being, and they'll sprinkle in Jorge Mateo here and there. That's probably what you'll see. Righties and lefties is what you'll see for the foreseeable future until they get Jackson Holliday back up here on the major league team. So I would expect Urias to get the bulk of the at-bats. He did hit a home run. I think it was today or yesterday. So hopefully he'll start hitting. He's a real good defensive player. He's going to be just fine. That's who's going to get the bulk of these at-bats. A corresponding move when the Orioles sent down Jackson Holliday, they brought up Ryan McKenna, and we're going to get into McKenna here in a little bit as well as to where he's going to fit on this team in the next week to 10 days as well, because I think that's something that needs to be addressed. But for now, Holiday's going to go back down. I would expect him to be down there all of May. I think at the earliest, and that's only if he's really lighting it up, we might see him in July. I think May and June we don't see him. I don't think we see Jackson Holliday back up here until after the All-Star break. You guys in the comments, let me know what you think. By all means, if you think something different, I'd love to hear from you. But that's my opinion. I think they're going to give him a lot of at-bats moving forward, letting him really get a good take on AAA pitching, and then bring him back up. I know Picktown Sports made a comment the other day about it, and he said, look, he's just going to mash AAA pitching. What's he going to do? And I tend to agree with that, but right now, I still think he needs a reset. I think the confidence needs to be built back up in him to the point where it's just like, send him back down, let him get some more at-bats, and then you can bring him back up and leave it at that. But that's just my opinion. I think he'll be fine. I think Ramon Urias will get the bulk of the at-bats, and they'll sprinkle in Jorge Mateo from here and there. But Mateo will have to go on and off from time to time as a pinch runner or a pinch hitter from time. Well, not really a pinch hitter. I don't think they'll let him pinch hit. But they'll probably bring him into second base from time to time. But I would expect Urias to be at third base the majority. Unless there's days when they bench Urias, and they could, and then they'll put Westberg back at third, and they'll put Mateo at second. That's the rotation you'll see. Westberg, Urias, and Mateo. But Westberg and Urias, I think, will get the lion's share of the at-bats. Laura, welcome in, and says the Yankees are the hardest team that Orioles have to play. Right now it will be, for sure. Victor says, do you think not letting him start with the team at the end of preseason hurt him? I don't think it hurt him. I thought he should have started with the team. I don't think it hurt him because he was mashing. I mean, when they called him up, he was hitting like 340 for AAA Norfolk. He was doing exactly what he was supposed to do. He just, when he got up here, he wasn't successful right now. He didn't execute it. Look, the hardest jump in all of professional baseball is that jump from AAA to the majors. It's not single A to double A. It's not double A to triple A. It is triple A to the majors. It is a huge jump in talent, and it just is, and the level of how hard it is to do. So I think most people do struggle, and it happens. Look at Anthony Volpe last year for the Yankees. Everybody expected him to be great. He hasn't been great. Look at Gunnar Henderson for the Orioles, Adley Rutschman for the Orioles. They all struggled when they first got up here. But I'm okay with the move. Picktown Sports says he went 1 for 4 today versus a big league pitcher who has a low 2 ERA. Yeah, exactly. But I think part of it is he's back down in AAA. The pressure's off. He doesn't have all eyes on him. And he can kind of relax and get back into the groove of things. Look, either way, at some point, when he comes back up, eyes are all going to be back on Jackson Holliday again. They're going to, because it's just who he is. He's the number one prospect in all of baseball. He's the number one pick from from last year. He's going to have eyes and media attention no matter what. So he's going to have to get past that. He can't use that excuse for forever. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, Jackson Holliday is going to be fine. Ramon Urias is going to get the bulk of the playing time that Holliday would have gotten with some sprinkling in from Jorge Mateo. But I really don't think you'll see a ton of Mateo at second. You saw him today against Oakland only because Jordan Westberg was under the weather. Otherwise, I don't think you'll see much of Jorge Mateo unless they're giving Urias a day off or Westberg a day off. But those three are going to rotate between second and third for now. Because Gunnar Henderson is entrenched at first base. Ryan Mountcastle and Ryan O'Hearn are entrenched over at first base. With, again, Gunnar Henderson is short. And that's just the way it's going to go. But there you go. So Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holliday sent down. And that's how we're going to see the at-bats moving forward. I did want to talk a little bit about the A's-Orioles series, kind of a look back. But I wanted to touch on Jackson Holliday first. So the Orioles just finished a series against Oakland A's. I don't really know what to say about the series. Oakland is mired in what I consider to be, such a disaster of everything going on with Oakland when it comes to their stadium. They're moving to LA next year for the next 3 years. After this year, they're going to be playing in Sacramento. This team is bad. They were bad last year. I think they won 50 games last year or something like that. They were not a good team last year. They're not really a good team this year. And they came in and they beat the Orioles 2 out of 3 in Baltimore. Not a good look for the Orioles this weekend. At all. Not a good look for the bullpen. At all this weekend. And we're going to get into the bullpen in a little bit. But the bullpen blew to... The Orioles should have swept this series. They had leads in the 9th inning twice. In the first and third games. And blew both of them. Now, Craig Kimbrell blew both saves. He blew the game 1 and he blew this today. Here's what I'll say about Kimbrell, and we're going to get into this a lot too. There's a lot of blame to go around, okay? The Orioles bullpen has really been struggling a lot, and they struggled again today. They didn't pitch well again today. The bullpen didn't, and even though Suarez wasn't great today, did give up some runs for the first time. He kept them in the game long enough, and then another who was it that gave up a run? Danny Colon gave up a run to keep the game close for them, making a 6-4 game, a 6-5 game. And then in the 9th inning, Kimbrell just didn't have it today. He didn't have it at all today. And he blew it, and 2-run homer, and Oakland wins the game, 7-6. So they won the series 2 out of 3. They beat the Orioles in Baltimore. In a series, the Orioles should have won all 3. They definitely should have. Nomadic Brian, welcome in. And the bullpen has not looked good at all. And this series against Oakland, they allowed Oakland to stay around, except for Game 2 when they won 7-0. Cole Irvin, God bless him, to his credit, kudos to him, pitched really well in that second game. But you score 6 runs today and you lose. You scored 7 runs yesterday. You lost the second game because you can only muster together 2 runs. But the bullpen blew it. They can't keep these leads, and I'm starting to worry about the bullpen. But credit to, Oakland. They got the big hit when they had it to get the hit. It's just that simple. They kept their bullpen actually did really well and kept the Orioles down and didn't allow games to get out of hand. The 2 wins that they got, their starters weren't great, but their bullpen kept them in the game. It was the exact opposite of what the Orioles did. Their bullpen gave it up. So, now you've got an Orioles team that it's fine. It's not the end of the world. They're in second place. They're a game back of the Yankees at 17-10. And you have an Oakland team who's now 12-17. They're only 5 games under 500 for what it's worth. So, it's not the end of the world, but it's not the way you want to go into the New York Yankees series starting tomorrow, a 4-game set. It's not the way you want to start a Yankees series with a Yankees team right now that is just lighting it up offensively. So, and we're going to talk about the Yankees series later on. So the Oakland A's series, bullpen was really the issue the entire weekend, and it's been a problem for several games lately. But we'll see how the Orioles handle it because we're going to talk about the bullpen in a minute. But the Oakland series is over. Look, you're not going to win every series, but I said this at the beginning of the year. I thought the Orioles had a really nice, soft schedule to start the season, playing a lot of teams that have historically, over the last several years, been bad, and they needed to get out to a good start. And for the most part, they have. I mean, they're again, what is their record? I got it right here. They're 17-10, so they're 7 games over 500, and they're in second place. They're 1 game out. Right now they're playing 6:30 baseball, which is good baseball. It's not bad. But they needed to against these teams because the schedule is going to get increasingly harder as the months and weeks go on. Nomadic Brian says, let me tell you, the Yankees bats have woken up. Even Judge, there'll be trouble. Hopefully Bradish will be on point. We're going to talk about that in a minute here when it comes to the series against the Yankees, but that's going to be at the end. So there you go. So we talked about Jackson Holiday. We talked about the Orioles-A's series, which really wasn't that great. But let's kind of talk about the rotation here because the Orioles, you always say you can never have too much pitching. Well, they're going to have a little bit of a rotation crunch coming up because both John Means and Kyle Bradish are done with their rehabs at AAA. For Bradish, he could have went a little bit further, but they think he's ready to go. So they said his next start will be with the Orioles in the major leagues. He just had a start, I think it was yesterday, pitched really well. So he's going to be in the rotation starting next week. And then John Means started today for AAA and was absolutely dominant. I think he went 7 innings, gave up 1 hit, no earned runs, 7 or 8 Ks, 1 hit. Just was really good. 99 pitches or something like that. He threw a lot of pitches. So he is built up and ready to go as well. And John Means is coming back to the majors. That was his last start. His 30-day rehab is over. Remember, when you're rehabbing, when you're on your rehab assignments in AAA, you have 30 days, I think. So his time is up. So what does that mean for the Orioles? How does this kind of shake out rotation-wise? And this is kind of how I see it. Cole Irvin's pitched really good his last 2 starts. He's been really, really good. Albert Suarez, until today, hadn't given up a run. Today was his 3rd start. His first 2 starts, he shut him out both times in the innings that he pitched. So both of the guys in Albert Suarez and Cole Irvin have pitched really, really well over their last few outings that they've had. Corbin Burns, Grayson Rodriguez aren't going anywhere. I don't think Dean Kramer's going anywhere. So John Means and Kyle Bradish are definitely taking the places of Cole Irvin and Albert Suarez. I'm telling you, I don't care how good they pitched. They're not going to be in the rotation when these guys come back. It's just that simple. Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights, welcome in. Happy Sunday to you. An impromptu Orioles Weekly. We normally do it on Mondays, but I have another commitment Monday night. I'm not going to be able to make it, so I wanted to make sure I got this in. So Bradish and Means will definitely be in the rotation. Kind of slots everybody down. You'll see Bradish go to the number 2 hole. I think John Means should be 3. And then they should have Grayson 4 and Dean Kramer 5 for now. They can always flip that. I just like having that one lefty right in the middle of the rotation. How the Orioles shake that out, I don't know. But John Means and Kyle Bradish, they're going back into the rotation. And absolutely, no doubt, Cole Irvin and Albert Suarez will be taken out of the rotation. Timothy Rainwaters, what's up, buddy? Welcome in. Good to see you. Now, where do they go? Where does Albert Suarez and where does Cole Irvin go? Well, Cole Irvin's on the team. So he's going to make it. He's going to be on this team. I don't see the Orioles sending him down. He's pitched well enough his last several starts. He's going to be in the bullpen. He will be your long man. The Orioles need a long man anyway. They really don't have one right now. He is going to be your long man. That's going to be Cole Irvin. Now, does Albert Suarez survive this roster change? Does he survive and stay on the roster? My opinion is, yes, he does. I think that they've got to make 2 corresponding roster moves to make room for John Means and make room for Kyle Bradish. So who are the odd men out? When I'm looking at this, I think Yohan Ramirez is the odd man out for the Orioles. He's had 5 innings so far, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. His whip is 1, and the opponents are batting 188 against him. Not bad there, but 4 earned runs over 5 innings. I don't see him staying on the team. I don't know if he's out of options. I don't have that in front of me. If anybody has that number, you're more than welcome to tell me. But I think Yohan Ramirez is one of the casualties for John Means and Kyle Bradish. And then here's my other one, and I know a lot of people are probably going to not agree with me. But I still think that second one comes from the bullpen. I don't think it's going to be a position player. I think it's going to be a bullpen person. And I think Mike Baumann might not survive this. I really don't. I think Mike Baumann may not survive this roster crunch right here, this rotation crunch. Baumann's numbers on the year, he's got a 5.06 ERA. He's got 10 2/3 innings pitched with 14 hits, 6 earned runs, 13 strikeouts, a 1.88 whip, and opponents are batting 304 against him. Baumann's not been good this year. Now, the only thing working in Baumann's favor, 2 things. Number one, he's got just a power arm. His arm is big. The guy throws upper 90s, and the ball explodes out of his hand. He can throw. He's just got a power arm. There's talent there. He has the talent. But the issue is he can't harness it. But his other... Sorry, I just got a text on something. But the other thing that's to his favor, he has no options left. So if the Orioles DFA him, which is what they'll have to do because he doesn't have any roster spots, doesn't have any options left, he'll have to clear waivers. He won't clear waivers. He won't. I don't see it happening. I think, and just looking at the talent that he has and the arm that he has a power arm. Somebody will take a flyer on him and say, we'll take a chance on him. He can be in our bullpen, and he'll be gone. And I don't know that the Orioles want to lose the arm, but at this point, somebody's going to have to go. And I just don't see it being a position player. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Heston Kjerstad. Maybe Kjerstad goes out and they keep Baumann in the bullpen and they go with that. But, and we're going to talk about Kjerstad here in a minute. Maybe that's what happens. But I don't know. I don't know if he will or not. I think that the Orioles might do that because he does have options and Baumann doesn't. Kjerstad has had very little playing time so far, and he does have options remaining, so he can be sent down. Maybe they'll do that. It's either going to be him or it's going to be Baumann, in my humble opinion. I don't think they'll send Albert Suarez out. Maybe they do, but we'll see. I'd like to hear from you guys in the chat. Let me know what you think. Do you think Suarez stays on the team? Is he sent out? I don't know. Brian, Nomadic Brian, he does have his work cut out for him because there are ramifications behind some of these moves with these guys that don't have options. There's real threats that these guys could be gone and off the team for good. But anyway, good news for the Orioles. Kyle Bradish, John Means coming back into the rotation. But it's really not the rotation that's the biggest issue right now. Right now, it's the bullpen. The bullpen's a concern. The Orioles have to figure something out. And not only that, with Kimbrel, not only has he blown his last 2 save opportunities, we'll get into that next as well. Let's kind of talk about that. I'll bring this up. Sorry. 1 second. All right, so we just talked about rotation changes coming. All right, we talked a little bit about the Orioles and Athletics recap. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the bullpen. So I want everybody to understand that blown saves happen. They do. They happen. As great as Felix Bautista was last year for the Orioles, he blew 6 saves. He did. He blew 6 saves last year for the Orioles. Now, he had a 1.48 ERA, and he was fantastic, just a power arm. Strikes out a ton of people, but he blew 6 saves. So saves being blown by closers happens. Unfortunately for Kimbrel, it's been 2 in a row against a bad team at home, so it's not a good look. But these things happen. I'm not ready to give up on him just yet. But, and this is a big but, he also might have a possible injury. The Orioles talked about it after the game. He had some back tightness. So they're going to kind of monitor him for now and see how he is and where he's at tomorrow. So I hate to say it, and I hope I'm wrong. Hey, John Messina, welcome in. But he could go to the injured list. He could be on the DL, on the IL, with this back issue. And if we land Kimbrel on the injured list, who closes for this team? Who's going to close for this team? Who do you trust in that bullpen right now? Really, folks, everybody that's watching that follows this team. Who closes? It's not. You don't trust Baumann to do it. You can't. There's absolutely no way. You can't trust Baumann to close for this team. Period. Big arm or not, he can't close for this team. Who else is it going to be? Keegan Aiken? No. Yennier Cano? Maybe. Danny Colomb? No. It's not going to be Cole Irvin. Johan Ramirez? No. Albert Suarez? No. Dylan Tate? Jacob Webb? Jacob Webb? No. Dylan Tate? Maybe. That's my guy. That's who I think. Or you're going to call somebody from the minor leagues. Maybe Chase McDermott comes up and they have him close for a while, or Cade Povich comes up. Both of them pitching really well at AAA, and they say, we need you to close for a little while. I don't know. I don't know what the Orioles are going to do, and I'm just kind of speculating. They haven't said he's going on the IL or anything yet, but he did leave the game because he had back tightness, soreness. So we're going to see what happens with him. But the Orioles bullpen, for such a strength that it was last year, has really become this weak link right now because the hitting has just been on par. I mean, I got to give them credit. For as much as I thought they struggled early, they have really been just mashing the ball. Everybody. 3 more home runs today. Just been doing everything they've had to do to score runs. But the bullpen is just not holding leads. And it's going to come back to bite you. So the Orioles have got a lot of work and no time to think about it because the Yankees are in town tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with this team. Maybe somebody goes out. If Kimbrel goes on the IL, somebody gets called up from the minor leagues. Somebody, a big arm down there in the minor leagues, is going to get called up, and that person is going to be in there. And I hate to say it, but they may say, you're going to have to. I don't know if they'll put a rookie in as a closer, but the Orioles have got some trouble here. They may have to go out and make a move or find somebody. This is trouble here for them. If Craig Kimbrel goes on the DL, the Orioles are really going to be in a crunch to say who's going to close for this team. I mean, I think they'll probably give it to Yennier Cano. I think I'd give it to Dylan Tate. Don't ask me why. I just have this hunch about him. I like his arm. I like the way his approach is. He's fresh. He's been off for a year, and he is a veteran. Maybe Suarez. Maybe Brian. That's not out of the realm of a possibility. He's got a power arm, and guy's throwing in the upper 90s. That could happen for a while, for a short-term solution. Maybe. The Orioles have some options, but none of these options are something I'm that happy about. When the Yankees had John Wetland, they had Mariano Rivera in the 8th, and they had Wetland in the 9th. They had options like that. We're not that lucky. So we'll see. I don't know what the Orioles are going to do. Let's just say, fingers crossed, he's not hurt, and he just needs a couple days off, and hopefully the Orioles can win some games going away where they won't need a closer, but I don't foresee that happening with the Yankees coming in town playing the way they're playing right now. So anyway, bullpen issues going on for the Orioles absolutely right now. And if they got to call, if God forbid, but if Kimbrel goes on the DL, the Orioles are going to have to make some moves, and they're going to have some tough decisions are going to have to be made. But we will see. We'll see. We'll see what happens for sure. But that's what we're talking about with the bullpen. I do want to touch a little bit on the Austin Hayes situation, and I want somebody to give me their opinion on the Austin Hayes thing, because Austin Hayes has had a terrible start to the season, batting like 110, just no extra base hits. He's just been bad. But he went on the IL with a hamstring issue. They don't think it's going to be long. I think it was a strained hamstring, if I'm not mistaken. But they said they really expect him back as soon as his 10-day IL is up, and that's going to be this week. Orioles are going to have to make a corresponding roster move. If Heston Kjerstad survives the John Means, Kyle Bradish additions, if he survives them, I don't think he survives the Austin Hayes coming back. I think that when Hayes comes back, the corresponding move will be sending Heston Kjerstad back down if he survives, again, the Means and Bradish additions. Because Kjerstad's not really even played. He's very little playing time. He didn't play again today. And even with a righty on the mound, he didn't play because there's nowhere to put him. Ryan O'Hearn's going to either DH or play first base. Ryan Mountcastle's hitting the cover off the ball right now. And Anthony Santander, Colton Cowser, and Cedric Mullins are going to play the outfield. Even though Santander is struggling and maybe needs a few days off, They're not going to do that. So there's no room right now for Kirkstad. So my opinion is he'll be the corresponding move for when Austin Hayes comes back. It's not going to be Ryan McKenna because, again, McKenna, just like Baumann, has no options left. He has no options. Now, he didn't have options at the end of spring training either. The Orioles DFA'd him. He cleared waivers. The Orioles sent him back down to AAA. But now that the season has started, teams may have a need for that type of player. So I don't know that McKenna makes it through another round of waivers if the Orioles have to DFA him. Just my opinion. Laura says, can Jacob Webb be a good pitcher for the Orioles in the future? I don't know, Laura, to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of Jacob Webb either. He served it up again the other day. His ERA and everything is okay right now. But in certain tight situations, guys, I don't know that there's anybody in that bullpen that I 110%, when they come in the game, I feel like, oh, it's an out. We're good. All's good. I don't. There's nobody out there right now that I really can say, man, I really am glad he's in the game. Even Danny Colon, he gave it up today. Gave up a run today that put them within a run going into the ninth inning, and it cost us. Brian says, Cowser's been fed a lot of change-ups. I think that has cooled him off, but I think he will adjust. Showed signs of that. Yeah, he'll be fine. Look, guys aren't going to hit 400. He was hitting like 420 or whatever. He's still over 300. He got a hit today. I think he got a double or a hit today. So Cowser's going to be fine. He's learning to hit left-handers. He's doing better against that. I really think Colton Cowser is going to be just fine. And I think he is ultimately your heir apparent in left field in the future, or center. But we'll see. That's more down the road. But yeah, Austin Hayes is going to be coming back. I think the roster move for him is Heston Kjerstad, and that's where where he lands for sure. Because I don't think that they're going to send Hayes down on a rehab assignment. I just don't. But there you go. Last topic I do want to touch on before we head out. Again, not going to be a long show today, but I did want to make sure we talked because there was a lot to talk about. I'm going to try to have guests on down the road too. I got to touch on this O's Yankees series that's coming up. I'm going to bring it up right now, scheduling for the Orioles. So Monday, it's going to be Schmidt. I think it's Clark Schmidt for the Yankees. Yep, Clark Schmidt is pitching for the Yankees. Right now, he's 2-0 with a 3.55 ERA, 25 innings pitched, 29 strikeouts, a 1.46 ERA. For the Orioles, it'll be Grayson Rodriguez. That's Monday. Tuesday, it's Nestor Cortez versus Dean Kramer. Cortez this year is 1-2 with a 3.50 ERA, 36 innings pitched. He's got 32 strikeouts and a 1.00 ERA. He's not been bad this year. He's had a very good start to his season. Now Wednesday, which we will be calling the game Wednesday night, the Orioles will have Corbin Burns going for them. And for the Yankees, it's Luis Gil. He's 1-1 with a 4.01 ERA, 24 2/3 innings pitched, 35 strikeouts, a 1.34 ERA. That's Wednesday, and we'll be calling that game. And then Thursday at 1 o'clock, it's a getaway game at 1 p.m. on Thursday, May 2nd. It's Carlos Rodon for New York, who's 2-1 with a 2.48 ERA, 32 2/3, 30 strikeouts, 1.19 whip. The Orioles have TBD listed right now. So the Orioles have not given us a starter for Thursday just yet. It's more than likely going to be Bradish or Means, whichever one. So Means pitched today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it won't be Means. It's got to be Kyle Bradish. Because he pitched, let's say he pitched Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, that'll be on that'll be on 4 days rest. It probably will be Bradish on Thursday against Carlos Rodon. So the pitching matchups for the Orioles, I like all four of them. I think they're in these games. I like the matchups. I think they're going to be fine there. But the bullpen is really, really worrying me. And the Yankees are just hitting the cover off the ball. I think they scored like 17 runs today against Milwaukee in Milwaukee. If Aaron Judge is starting to break out of his slump, if Anthony Rizzo is starting to hit, the Orioles they're going to have their work cut out for them in this series, and it's not going to be pretty if they can't pitch at all. And what I'm really hoping they find a way to do is just win these games, split the series, even if they win 2 and lose 2. No, Brian, yes, and he did have a very good outing, his last outing, which was today. He pitched really, really well, very dominant. So I'll be fine with either one, whether it's Bradish or Means on Thursday against Carlos Rodon. I'm fine with either one. We just need to go into this series and find ways to get leads early. Put the pressure on the Yankees. Get the lead early. Don't let the big guys beat you. Keep the ball in the ballpark as best you can. Work their strengths, and just pitch. They need to pitch the entire series. But we'll see what happens starting tomorrow night. We will be, again, calling the game on Wednesday. I think it's on Amazon, on the Amazon channel, Amazon Prime. So we have Prime, so we'll be able to call the game. But, guys, thank you for joining me. We're not going to be too much longer. I just wanted to make sure we talked about all this stuff this week. Because we were supposed to have the stream tomorrow, but I couldn't make it tomorrow, so I said we're going to talk about it today. Again, the Orioles got a lot of moves coming up. Mike Elias and Brandon Hyde are going to really earn their paychecks this week with all these different moves that they're going to have to make, because it's not just about thinking about the here and now. Some of these moves they make are going to be for the future too. And how they deal with this crunch in the roster is going to be interesting. So keep watching Masson. Keep watching MLB, watch the Orioles. You're going to probably see some moves made within the next day or so. Brian says, I don't like it, but a split would be good with the Yanks right now. Yeah, exactly. But we'll see what the Orioles do. I'm really, really intrigued to see how they handle some of these roster crunches, because it's one of the things that I've always thought could come back and bite you in the butt. When you use up all these options by sending guys up and down, up and down, up and down over the years, you're using their options to be sent down, because you only have so many minor league options. I think it's 6. Once you use those options, those players can no longer be optioned. They have to be DFA'd, and then they have to clear waivers. And it's not always going to happen. And when you have a lot of talent now like the Orioles have, there are going to be talented guys that could possibly be exposed to other teams, and then you lose them. So Mike Elias is really going to have to sit back and really earn his paycheck over the next week when he makes some of these moves. But anyway, guys, thanks you for joining me. I know there's not a lot of people in here tonight. Didn't expect it with an impromptu stream, but I definitely appreciate your support. If you are new here, or if you're watching the replay, please consider subscribing to the channel. We just went over 460 subscribers, so we're well on our way to 500. Hoping to get there soon. Please give the video a like and subscribe. It definitely helps us. Other than that, we'll be back again Wednesday night with a live stream as we do the live stream for the Orioles and Yankees. It's going to be a really good outing, hopefully, for Corbin Burns. And hopefully the Orioles can get a few wins in this series. But we appreciate you. Check out my Disney channel. I do have a Disney channel called Mouse Talk as well. Thank you, Sony 4K, for listing that. We have over 17,000 subscribers over there. We have such a great community in our Disney channel. They're amazing. But guys, thanks for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Lots of Orioles news. Lots of big stuff coming for them. I hope they can figure this out. I'm going to be intrigued to see the moves they make. And hope you guys all have a great week. Keep rooting for the O's or your team. And take care of yourselves and each other. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.